As an entrepreneur, between 2014 and 2018, Auntie Kukwa established Kukwa Legal Consulting, Dudu and J Play Den, and LSG Limited, together with her husband, Doc, Emmanuel Morris Ankara. And then in 2023, she partnered with Ama Abuaje, and together they set up Ampong and Ankara Publishers. But it is her spiritual life, the spiritual life. That is what I am interested in. See, in An Available Vessel, we realize that she tells her own spiritual journey with much emphasis on her personal relationship with the Holy Spirit. And I had the privilege of interviewing the pastor who wrote the foreword for The Available Vessel, Pastor Johnny. Come with me. Hello, Pastor Johnny. Thank you so much for welcoming us into your lovely home.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you.
Pastor Johnny, I'm moving right into it. I read your foreword in An Available Vessel for the Lord's Pleasure. And from reading the foreword, I realized that you have known Auntie Kukwa for approximately 3 decades. Could you please share a bit of the trajectory of her spiritual life with us?
Yeah. Well, so I remember way back in 1996, I met a family, developed a relationship with that family. This was in a church I was serving in, the Lighthouse Chapel International. And we grew quite close. This was a family made up of a mother. We used to call her Auntie Jo. Auntie Jo's full name is Arthur. And she had 4 children. The eldest was Kukwa, then there was Ikwa, there was Abba, and then there was Kwesi, the only male, you know. Now, it was clear from the very beginning that Kukwa was like the odd one out. She was, well, different from all the others. I noticed that she was very independent. She was very strong-willed, had a mind of her own. And it was not easy to get one over her. But behind the hardness, I realized that this was somebody who was looking for answers. Somebody who was looking for a purpose for her life and her very existence. So I remember we used to have a lot of conversations. We talked about God, about the things of God, about church, about certain practices in our church then, Lighthouse Chapel International. We also used to talk about her relationship with her mother, which was not the very best. And she also used to have issues with her siblings. So there's so many different things we talked about. Along the line, she relocated. She moved to Koforidua, and it created a bit of a distance because we were not communicating as much as we used to. But I used to check on her all the time. I used to ask from her siblings how she was doing and how things were working. I was very delighted when somewhere in 2011, 2012, I think, I was talking to Abba, her youngest sister, and Abba mentioned that something amazing had happened to Kukwa, that she had changed. She had had a personal encounter with the Lord and with the Holy Spirit, and the Kukwa that we knew had turned into somebody completely different. I was amazed. She talked about how she had had some encounters at the Christian Action Faith Ministries, had been through some deliverance sessions, and she had turned out completely different from the person we all knew her to be. She had made up with her mother, and now the relationship with her siblings, was far better than what it used to be. I had an opportunity to meet with her on 2 different occasions, and from my interaction with her, I realized that everything Abba had told me was very true. Kukwa had changed. She had very obviously a personal, intimate, close relationship with the Lord and with the Holy Spirit. And that stubborn lady that I knew many years ago had metamorphosed into, I'll say, a gracious and a virtuous woman who knew the Lord. And I was amazed at what God had done with her. And it taught me something. It taught me that God, according to the counsel of his own will, just decides about different people and what he's going to do with them. And it doesn't matter what others think about the person. There are people who are despised. There are people who are written off. There are people that conclusions are drawn about, that nothing good can come out of them. But it's amazing what God is able to do, how he just picks such people, makes something beautiful out of their lives, turns them into vessels that he uses for his own honor and to his own glory. And I can say without any shadow of doubt that that's exactly what God has done with Kukwa. And to him be all the glory for the great things that he has done. So, in brief, that's my story about her and what I can say about her spiritual trajectory. Yes.
Thank you so much, Pastor Johnny.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. That's something. Really something. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
It's my pleasure.
And once again, it's been lovely to be in your home.
Thank you very much for coming. I'm glad I had this opportunity to say a few things to celebrate Kukwa's life. Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you for the opportunity to do so.